are now locked in and listening to The Issue.
This guy is a franchise quarterback, and no, I don't want to hear any pushback on that.
It feels like a top 10 roster to me. It feels like it can win a championship.
This is The Issue.
Yo, what's up? We are back. This is The Issue, episode 240 here on Thursday, August 29th. We are getting closer. So the NFL season right around the corner. Today is our last divisional prediction. We've gotten through all 8 as of this show. So obviously go back, check them all out if you haven't. Today we are doing the AFC East. It's going to be a great one. Touch on Buffalo, Miami. How does that division shape up? I'm just excited. We're getting so close to the season. But the way the show's going to work, we're going to start things off with Tim's rant like normal. He's going to talk some college football. We did last week. He gave his top 12. It was excellent. You can go back and check that out as well. We're going to move into hits and misses after that to close out the first segment. And then into the second segment is the home of the AFC East divisional predictions there, along with the superlatives. And then we are going to close things out with a discussion on the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, CD gets paid. A lot has happened. A lot to discuss. What does that mean for the Cowboys? That's a ton of money.
34.
That's a ton of money.
100 guaranteed.
So it's something to look into. We are going to break it all down for you. But we appreciate you being here, no matter how you are with us, whether if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, or Amazon Prime Video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or the iHeartRadio app. We appreciate you being here. It's episode 240 of The Issue, and we are close to the NFL season.
Oh, I can't wait. It felt really good to sit down and watch college football. I know there's only like a couple games on. It was week 0. The main one, Florida State, Georgia Tech, was fantastic. Great game, back and forth, down to the very last snap. But I am so excited for Scott Hanson. I want to see the countdown. I need to hear Scott Hanson tell me what's up. Welcome in. NFL season. I cannot wait. But I know, like you said, I do want to talk about that Florida State Georgia Tech game. I think we can complain and we can nitpick the media and the voting and the polls and the AP and the coaches or the college football playoff or whatever. But here's the thing, right? I have a little bit of honesty for you here. You may not want to hear it. Come close. The general consensus and the media discussion, it's usually right. Like, it's usually correct. Like, we don't have billion-dollar sports organizations, like, in terms of media, like FS1, like ESPN, if they're just wrong all the time. I'm not saying they're right 100% of the time, but if they're discussing on a daily basis things that are incorrect, they wouldn't be in business very long, right? You have to be interesting. You have to step outside the normal constraints of opinions, and, you got to be interesting. But at some point, you have to be right. Right, so the general consensus is usually correct. Like, sorry to be that guy. I don't care if it's trendy or not. I don't care if it's the boring pick or the boring opinion. If the goal is to be right, which especially for things like rankings and votings and that type of stuff, it's not always going to be trendy or interesting. Right? I got eviscerated for saying the Chiefs are going to beat the Niners in the Super Bowl last year. Right? This time last year, actually next week, right? So 300 and whatever, how many days ago? 360-something days ago, I said the Chiefs are going to beat the Niners. Brock Purdy's good, but not good enough to get him over the hump. And we got eviscerated. Like, oh, wow, way to pick the trendy pick. Oh, how'd you come up with that one? Oh, my God, picking the Chiefs to win again. How fun of you. I was right. Like, we were correct. The goal is to be correct. It's a prediction. The goal of a prediction is to be right. Right? And the Florida State discussion, to me, has become, like, nauseating. Does anybody remember last year? We should be in the playoff. This is absurd. How do you go undefeated? Without Jordan Travis, your offense was unwatchable. Unwatchable. Horrendous. Did you try to watch the Louisville-Florida State game at the end of last year? It was unwatchable. And I'm a Steelers fan who, over the last 5 years, has struggled through ancient Big Ben, Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, I still tune in every Sunday, right? and I couldn't even get myself to the TV to watch Florida State last year. Couldn't bear the sight of them. Right? The team is just flatly, they're not as talented as they were last year. They're not as talented as some of the top teams in the country. They want to be put on that level with Georgia and with Alabama, right? And with your Ohio State and your Michigan, but you're just flatly not there from a talent standpoint. I like Mike Norvell, the head coach, as well, but I don't think he's this top 5 head coach that everybody thinks he is. I think he's somewhere between 10 and 15 in the country, right? I would take, off the top of my head, I'd go DeBoer, Kirby Smart, Lincoln, Sark, Lane, probably Drinkowitz from Missouri. I'd probably take Ryan Day, Jed Fish. Close, but maybe James Franklin. I'd have a discussion. Again, that's just off the cuff, right? So they're a good football team, but they are not a great football team. I know it's not trendy. I know it's not interesting to be like, yeah, they're not that good. Or like, I know it's the trendy pick to be like, Florida State got screwed. Now, obviously, I'm wrong this year because I predicted them to win the ACC and, go to the college football playoff. Now, that may still happen. It's just one loss. The ACC is not going to be that strong. There's a good chance they still win the conference. But it's looking a little rough right now. But that's besides the point. I'm saying this is what this team has been, right? This is what they are, right? They are the team that got beat 63 or something, like, what is it, 63-3 or something like that in that bowl game against Georgia. That's the team that lost to Georgia Tech. They're not as good up front. They missed Verse, they missed Fisk. They both went to the NFL, to the Rams, actually. Can't wait to watch them. They missed those guys up front. They got ran all over, right? You have to win the line of scrimmage in college football, and they flatly don't. They just don't. DJU's good, not great. To me, that's not a top 12 team. That's not a legitimate title contender. And they want to tell you, we have the best coach in college football, and DJU's we have a great roster, and we belonged in the You never belonged in the college football playoff last year. You probably don't this year. You're a good team. You're a good team. Not great. You're good.
I want to reference it back to something that you've said, and when we've talked NFL a little bit, and get into, if they're going to be a playoff team, then who's not? Who's falling out? Who is worse than you that you see in that picture right now?
For Florida State?
Yeah.
Well, because I think their way in, especially now with a loss, is going to be to win the ACC. So who do I think can win the ACC and replace them in a sense?
Right, yes.
I mean, Clemson's the obvious answer because it's Dabo. It's Cade Klubnik's second year starting. I like their offensive coordinator, Garrett Riley. Right, so they have pieces in place. I'm a big Cade Klubnik guy. I'm a big Garrett Riley guy. They didn't look good last year. I would say that would be my pick to replace them. I know it's not trendy. Ooh, Clemson. That'd probably be my pick, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, trendy's not always good.
No, I'd prefer to be right as opposed to trendy.
100%.
One of our most viral TikToks is me saying that Gardner Minshew is better than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I looked like an idiot. Cool, I went viral, but I looked like the dumbest human being alive.
Yeah.
Now, not an awful take. I'm just throwing it out there.
No.
Jalen's definitely better than Gardner.
And it helped in the situation, too.
It's kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Either way. Guys, we have hits and misses. We're going to move into that.
All right, number one here. Finally, Dallas and CeeDee Lamb agree on a contract extension earlier this week. 4 years, $136 million.
Huge.
Averaging $34 million per year. My question is, we knew what the number, generally speaking, was going to be going in, right? We knew what Jefferson made. We knew what, we know what Ayuk wants. We know what Jamar Chase is probably going to get. I feel like this wasn't, it had to be something with more of the verbiage, etc. But either way, he gets his money. $100 million of it is guaranteed over those 4 years. My question with it, can you win if you're going to pay? So if we look at just this year, Dak is going to be a top 5 cap hit. CeeDee Lamb, now granted this is an extension, so this year it's not too punitive. You're going to eventually pay Micah Parsons next year. Can you win? Let's say they re-sign Dak. Can you win with 3 players being? What percentage of the cap would that be? That'd be absurd. If they pay Dak 60, CeeDee's making 34, and let's say they give Micah 30. That's absurd. That's half your cap.
Short answer to that question, no, I don't think they can. We'll get into it more later. We have a discussion at the end of the show on the Cowboys. It's a sticky situation. I understand he's supposed to be paid that much, and that's what the market's kind of set at right now.
But that's a lot.
But that's a ton of money, especially when you're spending that much at quarterback and not really seeing the results already. So we'll dive deeper into it later, but my short answer is no, they can't win.
I would agree with you. I'd agree. Mr. Moine here. Preseason, we already talked about it. Preseason favorite in the ACC, Florida State, loses week 1 or week 0, depending on how you want to look at it, to Georgia Tech. They actually played over in Dublin, Ireland, which was cool, right? Expanding the game. We've seen the NFL go overseas. As of my knowledge, this is the first major college football. Like, I mean, maybe they've had some smaller ones. I know on the broadcast that first major college football game in Ireland, so that's cool. My question would be, do we think Florida State can still make the playoff? Because the ACC isn't loaded, right? You can win the ACC with 1 loss, and if you win the ACC, obviously you get in. You actually get a first-round bye.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's crazy that they can still get in. But do you think that do you view them as a playoff team? They win the ACC and go to the playoff?
It's really, I'd say it's 50-50. I mean,
okay,
it's 100% going to be, can you sustain it with kind of a lack of depth? I mean, I know that they have the main pieces there to at least have somewhat of a framework and make a push, but if injuries become a problem, like, that's one of those universities where they don't have a massive depth chart where they're going to be competitive when they have to get down into it.
Probably not. I don't view them as a playoff team after seeing that, but again, it's the ACC, it's not that strong, so I still think they have a good chance to do it.
Yeah.
Hit number 2 here. Kansas City signs their franchise center Creed Humphrey to a contract extension. They also went out and signed veteran Juju Smith-Schuster, and we've been saying it for so long now. Offensive coaches, they just get it, right? They just understand these little nuances to, like, how many tries at rebuilding the offensive line does Mike Tomlin get? Like, Andy Reid, 1 off season, 1. They go get Creed Humphrey. They went and got a guard and then a tackle. And the line's fantastic. Creed Humphrey's probably the best center in football. He's a second-round pick. So it's like, how many cracks do these defensive coaches get? We've said it time and time again, and it's once again evidenced. Kansas City offensive coaches, they just get it.
And this is a double hit for you, too, because you kind of predicted Juju to be signed sometime soon as well.
I just
you said he's good enough to be a 2 or 3 somewhere.
He's good enough to be on a roster. There's no way he shouldn't be on an NFL roster.
Yeah.
Like, he's not great. He's not what he was in Pittsburgh.
But, like, the thing like that is now he's going to be elevated because Patrick Mahomes is what Patrick Mahomes is.
Won a damn Super Bowl with him. So, I mean, yeah, he was very serviceable for them. Miss number 2 here. Bo Nix, rookie quarterback from Oregon, beats out Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, to be the starter week 1 for the Broncos. I didn't expect it. I can't lie. I thought he was the least talented of the first-round quarterbacks. I think he fits with Sean Payton, but I think if you look at arm, mobility, size, right, like Penix, beautiful deep ball. Caleb Williams, obviously, I think he's generational. Jaden Daniels wins the Heisman. I'm missing somebody. Drake May. Drake May is obviously very physically gifted. His comp was Justin Herbert. I thought Bo Nix was the least talented of them. I would argue he's looked the most impressive so far.
Well, remember back to when I said he looked the most pro-ready to me.
You did,
at least
yes.
Out of everybody.
Correct.
So this is kind of at least a mini hit for me. It's just, I didn't think it would be right now. I didn't think it would be week 1. I thought he would start and he would play games this year, but I did not think he'd be a week 1 starter.
So I asked you this question before we got on the air. Do you think they go over their 5.5 win total? Because after seeing the preseason, I know we did predictions. I think we had them at 5-12 or 6-11.
So we had them 6-11.
Okay. So I think they're an over the 5.5. To me, that's one of my favorite bets on the board after seeing Bo Nix in that offense. I know it's preseason, but still.
I'd agree with you that they could be over, but I'm not betting on that yet.
That's fair.
Jury's still out. I'd like to see more. I'm not sure what I think, but their defense is getting better, which is good.
We'll see. Hit number 3 here. Deshaun Watson will miss, and I guess already did miss, the preseason finale. So he didn't play in the preseason with arm soreness. What do we talk?
How much time are you gonna miss?
Well, no, he shouldn't miss any time in terms of the regular season. But last year he had problems with his shoulder. I said this when he took the time off. I said you can't just take off a year and a half and then come back like nothing happened. I pointed to Colin Kaepernick at the time. Now, obviously, very different reasons, but I pointed to Colin Kaepernick. He took like a year off to do civil rights stuff, came back. He just wasn't a starting quarterback in the NFL, period, end of story. Deshaun Watson so far has not been, I would say, top 20 quarterback since returning. I don't think he's been top 20. I think he's been downright awful. Do you think he's going to be a top I know it says 10. Do we think he's going to be a top 15 quarterback this year? I don't have him as a top 15 quarterback. I don't have him as a top 20 quarterback. I think he's somewhere in the 22 to 25 range.
I think he'll be top 20. I don't have him top 15, though. I think anywhere 16, 17, 18-ish region feels right.
There's
but
just so much noise.
we just don't have any evidence either, like in any time recently where he's been even a semblance of good. And don't forget that price tag that he's got on him, too.
It's fully guaranteed, so you're just screwed.
Yeah.
You're just screwed. Miss number 3 here. O'Neal Cruz, Pirates shortstop,
Moved to center field.
moved to center field. To me, that's one of the most puzzling moves I've seen, even from a team like the Pirates. And I went out on this show probably a month ago at the start of July. He was right after the All-Star break. He was tearing it up, and you said he can't field. And I said, well, if he's hitting 400 against lefties, he'd leave his glove in his car. I didn't think that he would be so bad. They said, we're just going to try him in center field. Like, he's such a negative. We're going to try a player that's never played outfield at the major league level. We're just going to put him in not just the outfield, center field.
Well, let's not forget, he still can't really hit all that well either. I mean, he's been slumping bad.
He's been slumping.
And,
well, everybody has, but yeah.
I mean, O'Neal Cruz and left-handed pitching. If you put a competent middle school pitcher up on the mound, left-handed, I don't know if he'd be able to hit it at this point.
Do you think that he'll be, let's say, above average? We'll see. Is he any better than just average replacement level?
A little bit.
I think he's going to surprise some people. That's my guess. I don't think he's great. But he can run and he's got a cannon. Like I think he's going to surprise some people. That doesn't mean he's going to be good.
He has the raw tools. He can develop them.
I think he'll be
but I don't
about
think
average.
Yeah, he's not going to be like
I think he's going to be about average.
He's got a strong arm and he's fast.
That's hits and misses. Guys, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we will have the AFC East, the final division of our divisional predictions, number 8 of 8, along with superlatives, and then we'll talk about that CeeDee Lamb and that contract with Dallas. Welcome back in. Almost the end of August. It is, what, the 29th? Is that right?
Yep. It
cool.
is the 29th.
Thursday the 29th. Almost the end of August. September is around the bend. Football starts in, is it a week from today? Right? Isn't Thursday Night Football that?
Yeah. So the next time an episode comes out.
On the 5th, right?
Yeah. Next time an episode comes out, we will have football that night.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait. That's sweet.
I can't wait. So we are officially a week out. As well, if you're listening to this on Thursday, we are a week out from the NFL season. Can't wait. Very excited. This is the issue. However you got here, whether it be YouTube or Spotify, Apple, I could run down the list, iHeart, etc. We certainly appreciate it. Make sure you like, review, download, leave us a comment. Right? Whether it be fun, please don't make it mean. It makes me sad. But other than that, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, we receive our fair share of mean comments. So if you want to laugh, go through.
Doesn't actually make me sad. I don't read them unless you'll text me like, hey, you got to go check out like this one comment, and then I'll go check it out, and I'll go down a little bit of a rabbit hole for about 20-30 minutes, like reading a bunch of comments.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I don't even look at the YouTube or Instagram or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Mainly, I keep up with all of that, and then I fill you in.
I don't want to know. You know?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Either way, this is big. It's the last divisional prediction of the preseason for us. This week, it is the AFC East. We will have effectively hit every single division. So if you haven't watched them all, go back through. They're terrific. They're all in their own playlist there on YouTube. But here we go. AFC East predictions, predicted record, predicted standings, and then superlatives. So MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Breakout Player, and the Coach of the Division. Let's go.
So we always start at the bottom and work our way up. I would say the Patriots are a very clear-cut number 4 in this division, and that's coming from somebody that I think Drake May is actually going to look pretty good. I just don't know who he's throwing the football to. Right? Obviously, Juju's gone. I'm not saying Juju's this dominant one, but he's probably their best receiver, right? Jalen Polk, the rookie from Washington, maybe their number 1. Kendrick Bourne, I think, is still there. Like he'll be a decent, guy to throw to, but he's like a 3 or a 4 on a Super Bowl level team. So that's a low end guy to throw to as your number 1. I don't trust the running game. I don't trust the offensive line. Defense should be good, should be serviceable. But yeah, there's not a lot around Drake May, and I don't think he's going to be perfect. I think he's going to have his fair share of rookie mistakes.
Oh, absolutely.
So to me, it's a 4, maybe 5-win team at most.
Yeah, I just don't see them being able to accomplish much. They don't develop quarterbacks very quick. Brady's kind of an anomaly where he just kind of
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was
stepped
still.
in.
But again, he was like a late round guy. Like
Yeah.
he sat behind Bledsoe until Bledsoe got hurt.
I just
So
feel,
yeah.
I have no confidence in New England without Brady Belichick. No confidence.
So
in New England.
we had this discussion with the Packers. I said I'm just going to start trusting them on offense mostly, but quarterback specifically. I'm just going to trust them that they think Jordan Love is that guy, and I'm going to believe them. Just the opposite for New England. I have nothing to go off of for the last half decade that says they know what they're doing offensively.
Nope.
I would say the Jets, to me, are a third-place team. 8, maybe 9 wins. I like the defense. Think it's overrated, right? Especially you lose Bryce Huff, and Hassan Reddick hasn't signed yet, so your pass rush is not going to be quite the same, especially on those big third down. Everybody knows the team has to throw. The only little caveat here is they play some weak quarterbacks. Like, they could go on a run.
Yes.
But they're going to have to execute, and I'm not sure. I have no proof that a Robert Saleh coach team and that the New York Jets as a franchise can consistently execute on a week-to-week basis to do the little things necessary to be a double-digit win team. I have no proof of concept.
And please keep in mind, this is also, we're giving Aaron Rodgers a losing record here. This is 8-9.
Yeah.
Do you think he plays the whole season? Just real quick.
No, not all 17 games, but I don't think he gets hurt and misses the whole year. I think he's just going to miss a couple games here and there. Okay. Yeah.
Fair.
I would say second place. You're higher in this team than I am, but I would go with the Dolphins at 9-8.
Absolutely.
And we had this exact discussion.
10-7.
You're like, wait, you have them losing to the Jets at the end of the year? I'm like, yes, it's January in New York.
Doesn't matter. 10-7.
Tua has 0 wins in that type of weather. None. Like, none. He cannot do it, right? Like, so November on, anything on the road in the cold is just a loss. And there's like 3 of them that I counted that are just, they are going to be at a decided quarterback disadvantage. And it's not even obvious that the quarterback on the other side is better than Tua. It's that he's better prepared and better in that environment than Tua by a long shot.
What do you think they play up to? You think
And
they
I think
play to a
they're
10-7?
And I think they're
Would it shock you if they get to 11 wins? 10 wins, 11 wins.
No, because they have a ton of talent. But you also have to remember that defense is not very good, right? Xavier Howard's not on the team anymore, right? You have Jalen Ramsey on the outside is good.
They've regressed.
Bradley Chubb is good up front, but then you also lose Vic Fangio, your DC. So I don't have a lot of faith in this team. I think they're going to be good, very good.
Offense is important. It's the forefront of the league, and they have one of the best of them. They have one of the best coaches, and they have, just immaculate weapons. And I think at the end of the day, if Tua can stay healthy and he can distribute the football, he doesn't do anything to lose you games.
No, I agree, except for when it's cold. Then he does.
We'll see.
That's my concern. So we're kind of flipped here because I think the Bills are the 10-win team of the division. I think there's going to be some, if you want to call it cannibalism, in the division because there are 3 good teams. I know we nitpick the Jets, but overall they're a good team, right? There's going to be some dog-eat-dog here in this division. I just think Buffalo is the best way. You're selling your Buffalo stock, I'm buying it, and vice versa for Miami. I'm selling the Miami stock, and you are buying it all up. People are like, oh, well, they lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis.
It matters.
It doesn't matter because, and I'll tell you why. So they were 6-6 last year. 6-6. Miami was, I think, 9-3 at the time. They said, screw this, we're going to start running the football more. When they started winning games consistently at the end of the year and playing winning football, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis were not a big part of the offense, right? They were not a marquee. They were not the cornerstone of the offense, right? The cornerstone of the offense was the offensive line, the run game, and Josh distributing the ball to his tight ends primarily and his running backs out of the backfield. That's their recipe, at least last year was their recipe to win. So I don't think you need a dynamic wide receiver with this roster to win. And we saw it at the end of last year. We have that proof of concept.
Now we also have the proof of concept, though, of what Mahomes looks like without his receivers.
And he won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Okay, but it was really ugly. And I don't think that Josh Allen has the resiliency to get over that, get through that.
Now, to be clear, I don't think he's Mahomes. I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl because I don't think McDermott is Andy Reid, and I don't think Josh Allen is Patrick Mahomes. But to me, that was a comparison that fell on deaf ears because they won back-to-back Super Bowls, and he won a Super Bowl MVP.
But to me, Buffalo is a team that their Super Bowl window has closed. It's not open right
now.
No,
I think that's fair. I think that's
not
fair.
open right now.
I don't think they're a Super Bowl team because I don't think they're. I would take Kansas City. I would, if Burrow's healthy, I would take Cincinnati. I would, if Lamar is healthy, I would take Baltimore as well. There's an argument. I would take Houston as well, and that's closer to your team than mine.
Yes,
but there's an argument I would take Houston over them.
Okay,
but I don't think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to drop off a cliff all of a sudden.
That's fair. I'm just not very high on them. To run back through, Buffalo in first at 10-7, Miami following close behind in second at 9-8, the Jets in third at 8-9, and the Patriots barely being able to scrap out 4 wins to a 4-13 record in the basement, bottom of the division. That's the AFC East. That's how we see the records. That's our agreed upon records.
Sure, I am fascinated to watch this division. This may be one of the most interesting divisions because. Because I know, I know we talk some stick about like the Jets, and I don't have faith in the Dolphins. Any one of these teams, Patriots aside, if they won 12 games, would it like floor you?
No.
If you're like, hey, Aaron Rodgers looks like Aaron Rodgers and won 12 games. Or, hey, the best wide receiving core in football won 12 games. Or, hey, Josh Allen, Superman, they won 13 games, whatever.
Right, not shocking.
Wouldn't surprise me at all, so I'm fascinated.
Okay, superlatives. So we have the MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Breakout Player, and the Coach of the Division. We're going to start with MVP.
Unless we are just completely... unless we just have the biggest brain fart, which is possible in the current state... this to me was like one of the most obvious divisions in terms of who is what. So MVP would be Josh Allen.
Okay.
That he had more. It's not revenue split. It's contribution to the offense percentage based than any other player in football over the last 3 years. So yeah, Josh Allen is the most valuable player.
They've really leaned on him. Yeah.
Yes.
Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah.
I think Tyreek Hill. I think he's the best offensive player in football. Maybe Christian McCaffrey, but I think Tyreek Hill has an argument for the best offensive player in football.
At least in the AFC.
In terms of
at least in the AFC.
Yes, and I would go non-quarterback as a caveat on that.
For sure. Defensive Player of the Year.
Sauce Gardner. I almost said, who did I say? I said Jalen Ramsey, and immediately both looked at each other like, no, Sauce is a much better corner.
Absolutely.
At this point. I think maybe prime Jalen, but that's a debate for another time. But yeah, no, Sauce Gardner. I think he's probably a top 3 DB in football. I think it's Pat Surtain, Sauce Gardner. Pick your third, but yeah, he is an absolute lockdown corner on a good defense too, right? So it's not like he is a chandelier in an empty warehouse per se. So
I like that saying. A breakout player.
I would stay with the Jets, and I would go Garrett Wilson. And now many people would be like, I think he's already broken out, like he's a star. But I think we all are pretty damn sure he's a star, but we have not seen a star caliber season out of him. And I would mostly blame that on quarterback play.
Yeah.
I think finally Aaron's healthy and upright for most of the year, and they have a legitimate backup in Tyrod. So now if he gets hurt, they have Tyrod Taylor, who is more than capable. He's better than Zach Wilson, Mike White, or whoever else has been throwing the football to Garrett Wilson.
Mike White.
Like he's better than any of those guys.
Yeah.
So I would say Garrett Wilson, he is almost a star. I think you're going to see him be a bona fide 100%. He is a top 10 to 12 wide receiver this year.
Love it. Coach of the division.
Mike McDaniel. I think he's fantastic. I think he's so good.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
The personality.
I was just about to say, like the press conference when he pulls up, he looks like he just got out of a nightclub. Like he's like, do we have any? He looks over. Do we have any water? Like that dude was going through it. He cracks me up. But no, all seriousness, X's and O's. I think he's one of the most clever coaches in football, especially on the offense side of the ball. So yeah, Mike McDaniel.
All right, take us back through.
Josh Allen MVP, Tyreek Hill, Offensive Player of the Year, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson as DPOY and Breakout respectively from the Jets, and Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins as Coach of the Year.
Guys, thanks for watching. As always, go check it out. It's all over the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter, all these predictions, all these graphics. You can find them wherever you can find the show, theissuesports.com.
I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going the outro for the whole show. I was like, wait, I think we have more.
Trust me. We have more to discuss.
No, I made that mistake one time.
Yes, you did.
Want to make that known.
Had to rope you back in.
That's okay.
Now, obviously, the discussion to be had is the Dallas Cowboys, right? The CD contract, it's huge. What does it mean for the team? My immediate reaction. I'm going to give you my immediate reactions to when I found out about the trade.
Okay.
I want you to
Not
tell
trade,
me
the signing.
Or, the signing. I'm sorry. You tell me if I'm crazy for thinking it. But this tells me that Dallas is now going all in on CD and saying we need a weapon. We need somebody to bill around. And not so sure if we're going to sign Dak. Like, haven't made a decision yet. We just paid a big chunk of change to a wide receiver. Now, where does that money go? Because now if you pay Dak the $60 million that he's going to garner, or $65 even, and then you're paying all this money to, CeeDee Lamb, where does that, like, they're going to sink themselves. They're going to put themselves in a massive debt, and they're going to suck for a long time.
So now, before I give my input, what do you think it means for Micah as well? I think the big three, keep that in the focus as well.
I think that's another thing where they're like, I don't know if they're living too much in the present where it's like they're overvaluing CD because, I mean, you can find wide receiver talent. It's in the draft every single year. You don't need to have the number one marquee guy, but they went and they paid him that money. It doesn't look good for Micah. It doesn't look good for Dak, and it doesn't look good for Dallas in general.
Sure. So I'm going to start with that last point you had where you don't need a marquee guy. I do think that's true if you have a generational, can't miss, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I think then in that case, you don't need a marquee number one, i.e. Brady with the Patriots. Edelman was his number one. He wasn't a marquee, big, outside the numbers guy. And obviously Mahomes has proven that as well. Peyton in Denver was kind of like that as well. Again, it wasn't a dynasty, but Peyton for those couple years in Denver was like that. So I would say to be relevant, to be a playoff contender, if you know you do not have one of the undoubted top 2 to 3 quarterbacks in football, I do think you need a wide receiver. So I think they should have signed CD. We can argue about a couple million here and there. I don't hate the contract, but I think you're right. Is that it means. I think it's significantly less likely that they sign Dak Prescott given that contract. To me, it feels more, unless Dak is unbelievable, we get to the NFC Championship game, he has another MVP caliber season, we are not going to re-sign him. Because again, just like I said, if you don't have one of the top couple guys, it would kind of make sense to restart a little bit. So if he proves... And, well, I would still disagree. But if he goes out there and shows he's top 3 in the league again, like he kind of did last year with an MVP caliber season, and it shows in the playoffs, they'll pay him whatever he wants. And I think it'd be smart for him to stay in Dallas because how much money he makes because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. I don't think that happens. I think he'll hit the market. If they don't sign him for the season, he's going to hit the market and he's going to get 60 to 65 million, period, end of story. It's going to happen. What it means for Micah... I think what's going to happen is they obviously sign CD. They'll sign Micah. My guess would be that they restart at quarterback after this season. That would be my guess. Who knows if it's accurate? That's my current prediction as of right now.
That's very
as of right now. But to be fair, Jerry has shown where he'll be like, oh, I'll pay 3 guys just exorbitant amounts of money, and we'll just be thin everywhere else. But that wouldn't surprise me. Like, if Howie Roseman or Brett Veach, like the top GMs in football, did that, I'd be pretty surprised. If Jerry did that, that wouldn't, shock me. Like, we think that would be a bad business strategy. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
To pay those 3 guys well over half of your salary cap, I think we can agree that'd be a bad business decision.
Horrible.
I don't think Jerry views it that way. I think Jerry would say that is a great business decision because those are the 3 guys that keep my stadium full. That keep the season tickets pouring in, that keep the jersey sales going, that make this the revenue machine that it is, that keeps me on national television.
Sure, and I'd make the argument that you could be bigger on national television. You could have more revenue streams. You could have more revenue, just total revenue coming in if you could win a damn championship, which they've been saying it's their year for, the last
25?
Yeah, so it's not great. I think... If you get smarter, you stop hemorrhaging money where it doesn't need to be hemorrhaged, cut back on the spending, spread the money out, get really good, solid guys at really good positions. Get rid of Mike McCarthy. He's not the coach. If you want to get rid of Dak, get rid of Dak. He's not your guy. Rebuild, retool, and try to win. If you can win, you double your profits, you double your revenue. You're the biggest thing in sports. You're the damn Dallas Cowboys, and you just won the Super Bowl. Why is that not the focus?
Hey, I don't. To play devil's advocate, there is something to be said for. Yeah, no shit. We should go find a quarterback to win a championship. They don't grow on trees, right? So I get it from that standpoint. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I would take the chance and go try to find somebody. But they're not going to be high enough in the draft to go get a guy, though. So, where do you find the guy would be my question.
Now, you proposed the trade, a veteran for veteran swap like they did for Stafford and
Didn't I
Goff.
propose Stafford in that, though? I said, watch out for Dak going to L.A. So, yeah, no. I don't know.
It's interesting. It's something that we're going to keep following, so, throw us your opinions. We'd love to hear.
I don't think they're going to be very good this year.
I don't think so either.
So I think they're going to be not really worth it. I think they're going to be not really worth $60 million.
They'll sneak into the playoffs. They're going to sneak in because they're not going to win the division. They're going to be the wild card team.
See, I have them sub 500, so I disagree. But you're probably right. But that's like my hot take is that they go.
Don't be trendy. I'm trying to be right.
That's fair. That's fair. That is like my one, I would say, fairly trendy pick because I have them going like 1-9 or 2-9 to start the season.
Yes.
Like I have them going on like an 8-game losing streak.
Yeah, that's tough.
Whatever. Anyway, last call.
Yeah, so this time, we have the country music artist draft. So top three, we'll
go three.
3 rounds.
Yeah, we'll go 3.
Our 3 favorite country music artists.
So now,
the best.
where I'm gonna go with this is who I would buy stock in. So I'm looking like for the next year. So you want some people that are good, obviously, as if I'm trying to fill out a team.
Yeah,
right? Because that's why we do it in draft.
You want your like heavy hitter, but then you want the guy that you're going to take a swing on.
Almost like you would do a NASCAR team,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
You need your top driver. You probably need a young guy, and then you
For
need
sure.
some guy in the middle.
Okay, go ahead. You get your first pick.
So I would go ahead and go with my bona fide star, and I would go with Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
No, see, give me yours because I think I know exactly what you're going to say.
Jason Aldean.
Yeah, so I was going to say he's probably in terms of longevity been better so far in his career, but there's no doubt at this point in time, Morgan is a bigger star.
Yes.
Like that is fairly obvious.
I would agree.
So that's why I would go Morgan.
I would agree. Okay. So like I said, I'm going Aldean just purely based on the length of the career. He's the staple guy. He's the franchise guy.
Sure.
Like that's one that you're going to want to develop the other ones.
Absolutely.
Coming up.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
I
Aldean
would
at
go.
number 1 for me.
Yeah, I would go with Luke Combs, and for my second round
That's a
pick.
good one.
I think I would have to look at the charts. He's probably maybe not as close as we think, but a second to Morgan Wallen right now. I think he's probably second.
So you're taking the swing on just popularity.
Oh yeah. Well, and I like both of them, but yeah, I would say are those the 2 most popular people right now in country music? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm going to go with another staple, big mainstream guy, Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
He's on everything. He's on American Idol.
So you're going
he's
with
gonna-
more of a veteran team so far.
You just wait. You just wait.
You have a young guy up your sleeve or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
I got 2 of them, so if you take one.
Oh God, this is tough. I'm gonna go Zach Bryan.
Okay.
Were you not gonna go Zach Bryan?
Nope.
You were gonna go Tyler Childers.
Nope. You'll see.
Chris Stapleton.
Nope.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna go Zach Bryan because I think there's an argument. He's the 3rd most popular guy in country music. I feel like I have the 3 most popular at this moment, and they're all somewhat young. They still have a runway.
Okay.
Like they're not super young, and they ain't no rookies, but they're not like old.
So far, I have very experienced guys.
You have
I
the
Jason
experience,
Aldean.
sure.
I have Luke Bryan. I'm between 2. I'm going to say both of them because you're done. Bailey Zimmerman and Hardy.
Oh.
So now my reasoning with Bailey Zimmerman is I think he's going to end up being bigger on the charts wise, just popularity wise overall. But Hardy, you got that guy on your team that's now blazing a new trail in country music where he's tying in the hard rock and the heavy metal into it.
He's somebody like he may not be the best, but I think what he's going to end up having as an impact on music,
Exactly.
like a Mount Rushmore type impact.
And that's a guy I want to
like this is we don't talk a ton of NBA or we don't talk any NBA, but Steph Curry's my favorite player. You can argue best, worst, whatever. Where does he rank all time? But he's got to be like on your Mount Rushmore because he has revolutionized how the game is played.
For sure.
So like he's got to be on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think there's an argument if he keeps going, Hardy would be on that because he's going to change music. I think.
Yeah, as long as he gets popular enough and the numbers.
My
go the
hot
right
country
way.
music take.
All right. There it is.
There it is.
Guys, that's episode 240. Thanks for sticking around. If you're still watching, we will be back next week. We will have our predicted playoff picture and our way too early Super Bowl winner as we prepare for the NFL season. And when we are back, NFL is also on that Thursday. So make sure you're tuned in, up to date, follow along, theissuesports.com. We appreciate it.
Or let's do a wager to decide who gets first pick next week for last call. Over under 8.5 comments about my Hawaiian shirt.
Under.
I'll go over.
Okay.
That'll be our wager.
Sounds good.
That'll be our wager.
Heard.
Okay.
All right, guys. We will be back, and that was The Issue.